Tonight on Nightline, the gamblers meet the men who've made billions while so many have lost so much. We take you inside the secretive world of hedge funds. Are they playing fair? Plus, drill, maybe drill. Heating oil could cost record amounts this winter, but would offshore drilling solve the problem? We climb aboard a lobster boat in Maine in search of answers. And tapping in, it's the fashionable new bottled water. So what's the source? That's right, a New York City pipe. Why selling tap water is a sign of the times.
From the global resources of ABC News with Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and Cynthia McFadden in New York City, this is Nightline, September 19, 2008.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia McFadden. What a week on Wall Street. Historic market drops followed by huge rallies. When today's closing bell rang, the Dow Jones was up nearly 370 points for the day and almost even for the week. The market rebounded on news of a $500 billion action plan the government hopes will stave off a full-blown financial crisis. But while most Americans worry about mortgage payments and dwindling retirement funds, there are a select few who are cashing in big time on the market turmoil. They work in hedge funds and they sell stocks short. Now, what does that mean? Not much to the average person, but it could mean billions for a Midas of the meltdown. ABC News' Nick Watt reports.
As tearful Lehman Brothers employees packed their boxes this week, rode round the campfire, David Einhorn, poker player and hedge fund honcho, might be counting the cash he made from the venerable bank's demise. Another hedge fund grandee, Philip Falcone, is taking heat from a British tabloid over the near collapse of the British bank HBOS. We're told he bought a Manhattan mansion from, shock, horror, penthouse boss Bob Guccione. Does his pet pig really have his own room? Remember the first sniff of trouble? The subprime mortgage collapse. Thousands of homes repossessed. Financial chaos. Well, John Paulson reportedly made $3.7 billion last year, largely from that catastrophe. He's bought himself a fat new pad in the Hamptons.
It appears that they are the ones profiting. So in an environment where the masses are suffering and a small few appear to be profiting, that's who's targeted. And as long as it's legal, short selling is legal, you need buyers and sellers, it shouldn't come under fire.
Still, hedge fund managers are cast by some as the current drama.
They're parasites living in the bloated stomach of capitalism.
Another hard day number crunching, then I'm off to lunch. I'm munching Russian caviar, smoking big fat cigars.
On the internet and now in a book, Geraint Anderson bites the hand that fed him. He's a reformed financier.
I'm just a city boy, another loaded pretty boy.
The only reason I give them such a hard time is they were earning so much more than me, these hedge fund boys.
Even lower-level operatives can take home $15 million a year.
It is a form of business which is much more appropriate for aggressive, young, cocky, confident men. And that's what you have. And when you get a bunch of them in a bar together, it's just like a cockfight.
The aim of the game, to make money whether the stock market is going up or down. A favourite and legal tool, short selling. This is basically how short selling works. Now, imagine that I'm a savvy hedge fund trader playing Monopoly with my friend Steve here. Now, I think that the waterworks might be in a little bit of trouble, so I borrow 1 million shares in the waterworks from Steve and I give him just a little something for his trouble. I then sell those shares on the open market for $10 a piece. Then I sit back, wait and watch with glee as my prediction comes true and the waterworks share price falls through the floor. Then I pounce. I buy those shares back on the open market for just $2 each. I give the 1 million shares back to Steve, and I am left with a profit of $8 million. Apparently, Einhorn took a similar gamble on Lehman Brothers and Falcone on HBOS. Tonight, Falcone's spokesman told us he met all regulatory requirements. He did absolutely nothing wrong. The failure of HBOS, the spokesman told us, was based on its inability to manage itself properly. Rob Stein is a Chicago-based hedge fund manager. 25% of his business is short selling.
I think somebody who does research and points out that the valuation of a company is below its existing stock price is smart.
Is there something theoretically wrong? There's only something theoretically wrong if they're profiting by falsely driving down prices of stocks, by spreading rumor and innuendo that there are problems.
That is actually disruptive to financial markets to the extent where you're actually getting a person's greedy little attempt to make more money is actually going to have a negative impact on the economy as a whole.
This morning, major news. The federal government temporarily banned short-selling stock in 799 financial institutions.
This is intended to prevent investors from intentionally driving down particular stocks for their own personal gain.
Midnight last night, the Brits did the same. The crackdown is going global.
The SEC is also requiring certain investors to disclose their short selling and has launched rigorous enforcement actions to detect fraud and manipulation in the market. Anyone engaging in illegal financial transactions will be caught and persecuted.
But in October 1929, the Wall Street bubble burst.
Financial gambling is nothing new, and it can backfire spectacularly. In 2005, the year of Hurricane Katrina, a hedge fund called Amaranth made a bundle, gambling that energy prices would soar. In 2006, they tried the same trick.
Unfortunately for them, there happened to be no hurricanes that particular season, and they lost $6 billion, I think, in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks.
Hedge fund managers are human after all.
And they're not all evil, and that's the part we have to remember. We sort of paint them with this one evil brush because they're the short sellers, and they're perceived to be the ones that make money with.
Hey, a lot of people make money for nothing when stocks go up, going long, making hay when the sun shines.
Going short is really not any different than going long.
So, what's so wrong with making money on the way down, making hay in a thunderstorm? I'm Nick Watt for Nightline in London.
It's a lot of hay. When we come back, you heard the chant, drill baby drill. Well, will it work, and where? We head to Maine to find out.